This is Alice, a 36-year-old single mum who puts 110% of herself into everything she does. Whether coaching high school soccer, serving on the board of her daughter's private school, or working as a recruiter for a top Chicago law firm, she relentlessly pursues perfection. However, last year, this single mum's obsession pushed her to the brink of burnout. When the girls on her soccer team didn't meet her high expectations, she became short-tempered. She pushed her fellow school board members to make decisions without enough discussion, and she even made a few recruiting mistakes by not thoroughly investigating candidate references. It's kind of ironic, isn't it? Alice's drive for success in her personal and professional life actually turned into her biggest weakness, putting her happiness and career at risk. In today's video, I will show you how you can achieve financial freedom without screwing up what you've got going on. Now, imagine for a second if you were a company, a legal business that can trade and operate anywhere in the world. As a company, you'll have to report your profits and losses to concerned shareholders and board members. How would you go about life? Would you be more goal-oriented, focusing on achieving targets and making as much money as possible? Or will you be more purpose-driven, trying to solve our planet's challenges, such as global warming and all that? Whatever it may be, by having people you have to account to, you will take your life and goals more seriously. Now, here are the following things you should do to achieve financial freedom. Number 1. Determine your financial value system. Commercial director of Sage One, London-based Nick Good, learned during 20 years in the software industry that financial success comes down to understanding your unique relationship with money. And that can mean different things for different people. From, I won't work unless I know I'll get paid, to, I'll only do what I love. Nick believes our feelings about money are shaped by our upbringing, social or religious context, confidence, and our views on individuality versus community. Not many of us really dive deep into those factors, but they play a big role. He shared 3 stories of people he's worked with to show the variety of ways we can feel about money. First, there was Pete, a manager who trusted his employer to reward him fairly. But what if Pete and his company had different ideas about what fair meant? Pete gave it his all, but when he didn't get a huge bonus, it became clear that their expectations about rewards and performance didn't match. Then there's Ray, a sales leader who spent more time worrying about his pay than doing his job. Nick advised Ray to strike a balance between creating value and making sure his boss knew what he expected in terms of performance-based pay. And let's not forget Jenny, a product manager who took a pay cut for her team only to struggle with her car payments. She learned that while money isn't everything, having none can be a real problem. Nick's takeaway from these stories is simple. Make sure your relationship with money is in sync with the deal you have with your employer or clients. Mismatches can lead to resentment and unfair rewards. At the end of the day, you're responsible for your own bank balance. He suggests thinking of your financial life like a partnership between your feelings about money and your value in the workplace. If one side isn't pulling its weight, the relationship can fall apart. So make sure your money mindset and market value are working together to keep your financial life on track. The second thing that you need to do to achieve financial freedom is to think today and tomorrow. A well-known Aesop's fable tells the story of the ant and the grasshopper. The ant toiled so desperately all summer to store food for the winter that she led a boring life. Her friend, the grasshopper, played all summer, and while he enjoyed himself immensely in June and July, when winter rolled round, he found himself desperately hungry and shivering in the cold while the ant relished the fruits of her labor in a nice warm den. Which are you, Miss Ant or Mr. Grasshopper? Or are you Mrs. In-Between? Whichever work and spending habits best describe you, you need to sit down and engage in a candid conversation with yourself about the balance between enjoying today and preparing for tomorrow. All work and no play makes Miss Ant a dull girl today. All play and no work makes Mr. Grasshopper a handsome corpse tomorrow. It pays to take some time almost every day to hold yourself accountable for continually balancing the need to live life fully and the necessity to prepare for the future as your earning and spending patterns evolve. A Portland-based creative writer and producer, Rick Petrie, is on record narrating how he quickly plunged into credit card debt almost the instant he gained financial freedom in his early 20s. Having grown up in a financially repressive home, he had developed a love-hate affair with money. All he heard was, "We can't afford it. Do you think we're made of money? Money doesn't grow on trees." He hated those admonishments. Consequently, when he finally found his little money tree, he fell in love with spending money, although faster than he made it. It took him 10 years, with the capable and loving help of the woman he eventually married, to pull himself entirely out of debt, to start living within his means, and to begin saving for the future. He met the woman of his dreams, but it took a lot more than pure luck for his career and earning power to flourish once he overcame his unrealistic feelings about money. For Rick, it wasn't just his upbringing, but also our society's consumer culture. In a frank conversation, Rick reflected on what he learned about living in a society that encourages spending. He said, "It's a vicious circle, and nobody teaches you about it. Society is too busy asking, 'What's in your wallet?'" You see, taking honest stock of your financial situation can prove quite challenging. Still, it becomes even more difficult when you live in a world that encourages you to behave like a grasshopper. Take, for example, Alice. When Alice hired an excellent accountant to prepare her taxes, the accountant referred her to a bankruptcy advisor who helped her design a reward system similar to a weight loss program that allows a person to get physically fit by measuring both calories in and calories out. Only if she cut spending by a certain degree and increased income by a similar degree could she reward herself with that little extra slice of the pie in the form of a new pair of designer shoes. The third thing you need to do to achieve financial freedom is to schedule regular financial health checkups. Peter Drucker famously said, "If you don't measure it, you can't manage it." You see, unless you're a financial expert, you'll probably need some help with planning. A great accountant or tax preparer can keep you on the right side of the IRS and guide you towards smart financial decisions. So, team up with someone you trust to help you out, like your spouse, a family member, or even a certified financial professional. Work together on short-term and long-term plans and make sure you have regular check-ins, maybe every quarter, to see if you're on track. You might even want to use a financial management tool like Mint to help you out. No matter who you have in your corner, remember to think about the financial impact of your career choices. Sometimes life throws you a curveball, and you'll need to adjust your plans. That's where a shrewd financial partner can really help, in keeping you from making mistakes based on outdated assumptions or wishful thinking. Once you have designed a unique short and long-term financial plan that will help you grow your idea of a fortune, you need to remind yourself of the other meaning of the word, the fortune that money can't buy. Preoccupation with the bottom line can keep you from gaining the love and happiness that make life worth living. You might be wondering, how can you avoid getting caught up in other people's expectations? Well, take a page from Frank Sinatra and do it your way. Carmen Vuolecke, an author and business strategist from Strategic Arts and Sciences, could have just the advice you need. They're all about following your own path, and they say, living a life based on what others expect can be pretty limiting. Don't be afraid to be unconventional. The best gift you can give yourself is permission to be different. You don't need everyone to understand your choices. To reach your full potential in life and work, you'll need to push boundaries, challenge the norm, make mistakes, and redefine success. Sure, meeting others' expectations might feel good, but it could also hold you back from truly pursuing your passions. And guess what? This applies to money too. Let's say your family, professors, and fellow MBA students expect you to head off to Wall Street and rake in the big bucks as an investment banker. But deep down, you know you'd be happier writing about finance and investment for less money. In that case, follow your heart. After all, it knows what's best for you. We all work harder at a job where we can apply our passion, drive, and talent. That sort of work will inspire you to bounce out of bed in the morning, ready to take on the world. This does not mean that everyone should leave corporate life and follow the path of a brave entrepreneur. Most new businesses fail within the first 5 years. Instead, find an existing company where you can do what you love and do it so well you make good money for the organization and yourself. Whichever route you take, make sure you engage in work that makes your heart sing. The final thing that you need to do to achieve financial freedom is to set your fair market value. A perfect strategy won't take you far if it doesn't include a sound financial component. Highly respected pay strategist and equal pay advocate Patty Tanji believes that the best plans for men and women must keep money in the foreground when making career decisions. Leaving it out of the process can severely shortchange you and your family. Yes, follow your heart, do what you love, and fan the flames of your passion, but never take your eye off the need to achieve both short-term and long-term financial security. That's why there is so much political movement around encouraging more women to work in science, technology, engineering, and math fields, she says. That's where the money is, and that's where our US economy is headed, Patty emphasized. She argues that a $5,000 per year raise in pay boosts a year's bank account, but if you keep investing the principal and interest over the next 30 years, that raise can add almost $250,000 to your long-term financial security. You must fight for that kind of security. Patty shares an exciting story about advocating for your actual market value. It involves a young woman dedicated to serving others as a social worker. Despite her ardent idealism, she turns down an offer from a potential employer because she cannot afford to work for that amount. An hour later, she receives a call doubling the offer. She accepts it. Years later, she discovers, to her amazement, that her starting salary was double that of her co-workers. She had wisely kept her eye on her own financial needs and made more money than those who accepted less pay. You should advocate for the value of your work and the financial security your effort provides for your family, team, and organization. You know, building wealth takes a good amount of courage, focus, and a strong belief that you can actually make it happen. It's interesting that research shows we start thinking about money even when we're just kids. Whether your parents could afford those fancy toys and clothes, or they constantly reminded you about the family budget not allowing them to give you everything you wanted, you started developing strong feelings about money. Even if you didn't think much about it, money still meant something to you. Having a lot of it might have made you feel safe, secure, or proud, while a lack of it could have led to feelings of insecurity, danger, or shame. The thing is, both positive and negative emotions can drive us to succeed financially. But no matter how you feel about money, you've got to decide if it'll control you or if you'll be the one in control. To really take charge of your emotional relationship with money, you've got to make a conscious effort to understand it. You can actually replace negative associations with positive ones. If you can picture a future where you're financially secure, you'll have a better shot at making it a reality than if you imagine yourself living out of a shopping cart under a bridge. Visualization can be a powerful tool in helping you develop a healthy relationship with money. Thank you so much for watching. Kindly give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you enjoy our content. With that said, have a great day and see you in the next one.